I think what did surprise people on both sides of the Atlantic was the scale of President-elect Trump's victory, in the popular vote, but also in the Electoral College, and and the scale of his victory, and also the fact that Republicans now have control of, or will have control of, the House and the Senate. They already had a kind of controlling vote in the Supreme Court. So it's a very powerful package when taken together. It really gives Trump an extraordinary mandate. I think a lot of his agenda really is focused on domestic public policy in the United States. I think there are different aspects to this, and it's visible also in the people he's choosing to appoint and to nominate. But they have very strong views, mirroring in some sense the president's preoccupations around a few issues. Economic nationalism, economic revival, a very kind of America First outlook when it comes to trade and finance. In general, I think Trump seems much more focused on economic concerns than he is on security concerns. He seems to believe that he can bring the parties to some sort of a useful negotiation, at least if not around a settlement, at least around a ceasefire. I think most people would want that, frankly. Many would not like to see it at the expense of Ukraine's sovereignty. That's a different question. But in terms of making a sharp break with past practice, I think that's sure to happen. I think everyone expects this, from President Zelensky to President Putin. And in general, something is likely to move. What it is, how it ends, very unclear, but it clearly is a priority for him, in part because he would like to focus on other things. I think in the end, he's actually quite averse to military risks, as indeed the Biden administration was in some respects with regard to Russia. But I think he pushes this further. But also it's all about, and especially for him and his advisors, it's all about being able to focus more effort on risks in Asia and dealing with China as a peer competitor or would-be peer competitor. That's a very different sort of strategic problem, and it would require a reorientation of American policy, but also spending and forces elsewhere. The immigration agenda is going to be at the top. I mean, Trump goes so far as to even talk about deporting the millions, in the American case, millions of immigrants of undocumented status or unclear status, and that would be socially, in my view, enormously disruptive. But it would be something that I have to assume Europe would look at very, very carefully, because there are voices calling for similar things on this side of the Atlantic. So there is, we're all watching each other. And there are lessons to be learned on all sides, positive or negative.